Welcome to today's podcast on the equations of linear graphs. A linear graph is a straight line graph, and hopefully by the end of this podcast you should be able to recognize the shape of a linear graph based on its equation. So we're going to use a program called Grapher, which you can find by clicking on the spotlight tool at the top and typing in Grapher and hitting enter. We're going to choose a 2D default graph. So it's got the x and y axes and an equation bar at the top of the screen. So we're going to begin by plotting a very simple graph of y equals x. This means that whatever the x value is, the y value is also equal to it. So if x is 2, y is 2. It's got an angle of 45 degrees. If we stuck a 1 in front of this wouldn't change the equation in any way because we had 1x to start with. This is just putting a 1 in front of our x. This number here in front of the x is our gradient, which is calculated by doing rise over run. So in this case, the rise is 2 and the run is also 2, so our gradient is still 1. If we change our gradient now to make this number higher, say 3x, notice that the line becomes steeper. So the rise is 3 over 1, so we've got a gradient of 3. I can make this gradient smaller, let's say 0.2 for example, and we'll see that the gradient becomes less steep and the angle is smaller between the x-axis and our straight line. Now if we look at adding or subtracting a number from the equation, let's say we add 1 to this equation. Notice that the line has the same gradient as before, but it's gone 1 up. We've added 1 to the equation, so y is now 1 more than it was before. Notice that the graph has gone from 0 to 1. If I make that 2, it goes up to 2, and if I make it minus 0.5, the line moves down to the point minus 0.5. So this number here that we're adding or subtracting from x is our y-intercept. This is often denoted by the letter c, and the gradient of our straight line is 0.2, and this is usually denoted by the letter m. So the format for an equation should be y equals mx plus c. Notice that we could also change the order of this equation. If I write minus 0.5 plus 0.2x, the equation is the same. I can make this number bigger. So the order isn't important, but we do have to be aware that the number in front of the x is always our gradient, and the constant with no x next to it is our y-intercept.